Greetings, what's up, and a very warm welcome to the channel. The sun is still hiding and the magpie is still casting. Coming to you guys right now with a live 1 vs 1 battle featuring spawning in the north. Playing as the Soviet forces, it is gonna be Shadowwada. And playing in the south, playing as the Overcommand West forces, making his debut on the channel, it is Zipd3m0. Zipd3m0. Let's call him Zipd3m0. Zipd3m0. That doesn't... Zipd3m0. Nope, okay, we're gonna call him Zipd3m0. So, yes indeed. So, this is now the second game that I have ever cast with the new patch in effect. So very much looking forward to seeing what's going to happen. We got to see United States forces versus Overcommand West forces in our last outing. And we got to see Barton PL, a very famous and pretty damn good player play. So it looks like we're going to be taking a look at Overcommand for the second time under the command of Zipd3m0. And we're going to be taking a look at the Soviet forces. So let me just, I've got the patch notes literally printed out and in an incredibly unreadable massive stack here. Quite a few pages. So I'm just kind of, here we go, Soviets. Soviets. So I do know that penal squads have been buffed. Penal squads now have just like better accuracy, better damage, and this cool ability whereby for every man that they've lost in the squad, they get like a funky buff to the remaining members, which is pretty cool. What is it called? They get where is this? Oh, maybe they don't have that. Okay, my bad. Seems like that didn't make it into the final patch, but anyway, they have been buffed across the board. So we'll have to keep a look out on the tech here from Shadowwada, one of the sneakiest players in the game, and see what he's going to be going for. These Volksgrenadiers kind of getting pretty badly caught out here. There's a lot of conscripts up in their grill. This is the kind of range you never really want to be taking conscripts on at this point in the game. Yeah, these Volksgrenadiers are just going to go down hard and fast. They are forced to fall back. Looks like Zipd3m0 going to be grabbing some points elsewhere on the map. He's got his Storm Pioneers out in the west, and a Kuba wagon just shoring up those points. But I think he's going to be ceding control more or less entirely of the east of the map to the Soviet player Shadowwada here, committing most of his units here. Just one beleaguered unit of Volksgrenadiers in a building, doing what damage they can, and definitely being an annoying thorn in the side of Shadowwada. But you know, they'll not really get any real work done, and they will be picked down over time by these conscripts. So that is. It's still worth leaving them in here just to trade for damage over time, though. I mean, as long as you're in a building and you're firing at these conscripts, you'll be doing okay, I think. Little conscript run by here, going to go for the cut-off point here. Pretty annoying. Shadowwada knows exactly what he's doing. Storm Pioneers are in the hood, though. They're going to sprint on in and try and clear this up. Yep. Shadowwada, very timely on his fallback there. Wants no part of an exchange with Storm Pioneers. Knows that doesn't really work out very well for conscripts at this point in the game. So he's going to be forced back there. Looks like for the Overcommand player, 3 squads of Volks and a Kuba wagon so far. So pretty standard stuff from Zipd3m0. For Shadowwada, looks like we've got an additional squad of engineers and 3 squads of conscripts. So again, pretty standard stuff there from the Soviet player. This engineer squad being strangely idle right now. I wonder if Shadowwada's just. I wonder what they're doing. Have they just finished? No? I'm not actually sure what they're doing here. Just providing some scouting intel. I see, waiting for their flamethrower upgrade, I imagine then. Yes, that was probably it. Here comes the Schwerermacht Schlepper just now for Zipd3m0, so we're going to see which tech building he puts down. But remember, no matter which one it is, the mechanized or the battalion HQ, he's going to have to spend 100 manpower and 15 fuel upgrading it to have either the mechanics or the medics. That's one of the changes brought to us in this most recent patch. So that'll be an interesting thing to see. Kuba wagon here in an advanced position, going to provide all the information Zipd3m0 needs to know what forces are approaching him here in the western flank. And yeah, looks like he's going to find these conscripts, going to fall back and just repair on these Storm Pioneers, and then probably go back in for a little more damage with that Kuba wagon. So far, a pretty even match. No big swings, no massive mistakes. Both players looking pretty competent at this point. Nothing to write home about either, though. Looks like the support weapon Campanile gonna be the weapon of choice here for Zipd3m0. I don't believe there have been any changes to either the mortar, the Zis gun, or the Maxim. I believe those units all pretty much functioning as intended from Relic's point of view. In fact, we seem to have a moment of quiet here. So I might just... I mean, there were a number of global changes to the game, which I haven't mentioned in the last cast or this one. One is that the last man dead in weapons teams will now usually not be, or will now always be the guy holding the weapon, so weapons teams should drop that weapon a lot less often unless the player firing at the squad specifically targets the entity with the weapon, so like the actual gunner of the MG, if you like. So that's a nice change. That should make things a lot less frustrating with weapon teams when they're trying to fall back. Should make things a lot, just less frustrating. I think just make the game flow a bit smoother in that regard. Snipers are now slightly easier to hit. They take slightly longer to fire. They always use their maximum fire time rather than having that reduced for the proximity to enemy units. And they also now count as target size 1.15 rather than target size 1. So snipers definitely slightly less durable now, I would have thought. Nice move out here from Shadowwada, going to clear out the Axis forces from mid and take the middle VP, which on Langraskaya is the crucial one pretty much. Like, this is... Langraskaya is one of these maps, in case you didn't already know, where it's very hard to hold all 3 VPs. It's very hard to assault the VP that's like in your opponent's pocket. So for the south spawning player, this VP is usually in their control. For the north spawning player, this VP is normally in their control. So Langraskaya tends to go on for... Oh wow, nice AT grenade. Conscripts coming out of this building to secure the kill on that Kuba wagon. But this is one of those maps that tends to go to the late game just because it's very hard to exhaust your opponent's supply of victory points very early or very quickly. Wow, looks like we've got a PM41 82mm mortar squad going to be on the field here, and a light gun for the German player. So that's pretty nice stuff there. Going to have a little bit of an indirect fire war going to be getting set up here. I'm liking the style so far from Shadowwada, pretty well balanced. He's going to be adding a Maxim onto this roster shortly. He's got a mine detector and a flamer as well, so actually this is a very nicely well-rounded roster here from Shadowwada, and I like what I'm seeing. He'll have the opportunity to throw down a tech building in just a second, and I imagine that might be why these engineers have come back to base. We'll see. The light gun here going to be chipping in for some rounds, hopefully some damage, and incendiary also going to be used here on these conscripts. Yeah, that's going to force an immediate fallback, but there's going to be a mortar round landing in these folks, gibbing one of them and getting some damage onto the others. Very nasty stuff, but the STG-44 upgrades have now finished on these Volksgrenadiers, meaning that they do fantastic damage at this kind of range. They're going to get up on top of the mortar. There's a Maxim here to support and suppress, but they've actually kind of slipped through its arc here, so the Maxim also is going to have to GTFO. Volk's going to chase the Maxim as well. They should keep that thing displacing. Can't let that one get set up. Meanwhile, the other Volk squad here with its STGs doing decent damage against these engineers, but with conscripts and the flamer, they should be all right. Looks like these Volks are going to take this fight right up at close range. Oh my god! Getting an absolute massacre on the Maxim crew. Chance of a squad wipe here. Looks like Shadowwada might get this unit out of here, and he does. That was a very close run thing on that Maxim squad. These Volksgrenadiers, 10 kills, 2 stars of veterancy at the 8-minute mark. Looking pretty spicy with those STG-44s. The light gun still arcing rounds in. Looks like the Soviet players' mortar squad is still back at base repairing right now. So far, yeah, very nice game, very close. These STG-equipped Volksgrenadiers, like, are such a nice touch, actually. I think I much prefer them to the Panzerschreck Volks of old. That light gun still chipping in rounds, but light guns are such... I mean, look at this. It's been firing, like, pretty much since it entered the field, and it still has, like, no veterancy to speak of. Its rate of fire is so low, the shells just aren't very destructive. Like, the Lieg is, for its cost, like, the least effective, for my money, indirect fire piece in the game. With 330 manpower and 9 bloody unit supply. And it doesn't even have smoke shells. I'm sorry, I'm a Lieg basher, I am a Lieg disbeliever. I do not think the Lieg is a very good unit.
Ready for action.
Anyway, Volksgrenadiers, going up to 4 squads of Volks now is Zipd3m0. I think he might need, like... Well, I suppose, actually, there's no Tank of E battalion command, so he's actually going to be okay. I was going to say he should get a Rakettenwerfer, but whether he knows it or not, he's actually fine not getting one. Shadowwada, by the way, has chosen mechanized support tactics, so there are the abilities on the screen. Just hit the pause button if you want to refresh your memory on what those all do. But it does mean, most notably, he's going to have the IL-2 precision bombing strike, which is very effective, and he's also going to have the ISU-152 very heavy assault gun for that late game back-breaking might. A Zis gun, I think? Sorry, no, a Rakettenwerfer is being added onto the roster, sorry, for Zipd3m0. So here comes a Rakettenwerfer for the Axis player. And with 4 squads of Volks running Panzerfausts, that's actually, like, a much more significant threat than it used to be. And, like, the interplay between the overcommand units much more rewarding and diverse than it used to be. So, I mean, so far I feel like I'm really enjoying this new patch. I think Relic have done so well. Massive shout out to Mirage Flower as well for his contributions to the patch. Mirage Flower, one of the most dedicated, hardworking, and best community balance, or like, I guess balance providers. I mean, he basically has been creating his own balance mod since almost time immemorial, it feels like, and that balance mod was very astute. So much so that Relic took a lot of pages out of his balance mod in creating this latest, pretty much game-changing patch. So, yeah, massive shout out to Mirage Flower for his contribution to the Company of Heroes 2 community, keeping the game strong, and it's really cool that Relic got on board with his work, really. I'm sure this light gun would love to be firing if it had any line of sight. Looks like Zipd3m0 going to be falling behind just by 1 ticket per tick. The victory point situation now, Shadowwada holds 2 to the 1 of Zipd3m0. Flammenwerfer going to get on up into this building and start blazing down these vaults. Big amounts of damage being dealt, actually. I think Zipd3m0 just needs to move them a little bit further back. That's the sound of a PM mortar getting some rounds in. So look for those falling into this fight. Looks like Shadowwada ready to get aggressive here, and I feel like Zipd3m0 just waited too long. Now he's going to be on the defense here. Let's see if he can hold nicely. That light gun unable to literally hit a barn. And now here comes the T-70. Sorry, so the Tank Review Battalion has finished, by the way. Yeah, it's up here, and the T-70 not only finished, but out on the field. Come on, Magpie, didn't see that one coming. Tut. But anyway, yeah, the light tank is going to be here, and that is making some big holes in these retreating units for the Axis forces here. This light gun getting picked to pieces by the cannon on this T-70. Doing fantastic damage. Damn, look at the range on this thing. It is basically as good as an Oswin. Guards units now moving out onto the field. The PTRS equipped elite infantry here. Going to be making some dents here. This Rakettenwerfer very beleaguered. Going to try for a shot onto this T-70 here, and it will be forthcoming, he says. Oh, maybe not. And a good grenade from the guards going to eviscerate those Volks. Volks falling back all over. This Rakettenwerfer needs to GTFO. Absolutely needs to GTFO. This Maxim, by the way, is what's providing all this suppression from a very nice position here. One of the Volk squads is wiped. So a very nice pickup there. Panzerfaust was able to find the T-70. That's going to enable the Rakettenwerfer to come through for the kill there. So actually, Zipd3m0 seemingly knew exactly what he was doing. By not falling that unit back, he was able to convert the Panzerfaust into a dead T-70 and keep himself in this game. I basically think he needed to do that if he was going to stay in this game. I feel like his army is a lot smaller than the Soviet player. So he is in a sticky situation. The Lig here doing all it can against this Maxim, which is basically nothing. The rate of fire on this thing's so slow. Yep, well done, Lig. How much veterancy has this thing got now? It's actually got 3 kills and half a level of veterancy. Oh my god! Soviet player is now reinforcing all of his units. Shadowwada will be moving out with them shortly. The good old medics running around and healing everyone. This Maxim is just being a continued bother. We are not equipped to handle these conditions, goddammit. You mean like a sunny day? So fresh T-70 going to be the choice here for Shadowwada. Going to invest another 70 of his fuel into the plucky Soviet light tank. Oh, I do like light tanks. I wish they'd release the Panzer III for one of the Axis teams. That would make me so happy. Oh, wow, gets a nice pickup on these Storm Pioneers who are running for their lives right now, but you've got to think this T-70 being this much on top of them probably going to be their demise. Seemingly unable to actually find a hit with that autocannon. It's a touch embarrassing here for the Soviet tank. There we go, gets 1 of them, gets 2 of them, should get all 3 of them. Yep, there they go, very nicely done there. And losing your Storm Pioneer is something you can ill afford to do with Overcommand. Looks like the Flak HQ, the Schwerpanzer HQ, has been deployed in this location. Mines as well, going to kill off 2 units of those conscripts, as well we know they do in this new patch. Wow, Rakettenwerfer going down to a mortar hit and the T-70. These Volksgrenadiers on 3-star, they're going to be taken out, yeah, brutally massacred. And for Zipd3m0, it looks like it's all kind of fallen apart. Some Obersoldaten are about to arrive, but yeah, he's going to call GG, having lost all his forces in a nice, enveloping, all-range attack here from Shadowwada. Shadowwada there, proving his worth under the new patch. Very nicely done. Be very keen to see some more games from him. He's a player who's played in some of the tournaments that we've had over the years. Always been a prolific prolific member of the scene, and but I feel like it's not often that I've actually personally gotten to cast him, so it is nice to see him, even if it's only for, 15 minutes or so. But yeah, good to get a feel for how he operates here with the Soviet forces, and also see how he's doing under this new patch. Apparently quite well. So yeah, that brings this battle to a conclusion. Without further ado, I will be moving into another cast because there's just been a new balance patch, and I am well hyped to be casting the Company of Heroes 2. So yes, this for now is Magpie842 signing out.